when you are mentally thinking about the mistakes you're about to make, you never operate correctly.
Yeah.
When you are consciously thinking about things that should be unconscious in those types of situations, you will trip yourself up mentally. Welcome back to another episode of Culture Camp. This is Jason Haugen. This is going to be a different episode. I'm very excited about this one. I have my beautiful, gorgeous wifey sitting here in front of me, and she's going to ask me questions about everything that I've learned for my 20th episode. And I'm just having a great day today. Today's been a really long day. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, did my morning routine, did what I got to do. Meetings all day long, driving everywhere. Just got out of a meeting. It's 10 o'clock at night. And I was so excited for what happened today. And I was like, babe, let's just freaking jam on a podcast.
Let's do it.
I'm excited to have you on here and just fire away and ask some questions that we have got from people hitting me up in the DMs, just, different things that I thought I put together just valuable. I got a lot of people asking me to do something with me, and I'm super stoked to do this. So
I'm excited too.
Welcome to the show, babe.
Hi, everyone. My name's Mykell, by the way.
Oh, did I not introduce your name? This is Mykell Haugen. I am sorry, everybody.
It's okay. All right. So we'll start with a heavy one. What is one thing you will never do in your business?
Never do. That's a hard one. Actually, it's not. It shouldn't be that hard. But there's so many things that I would never do that. Treating people with disrespect and acting like I know everything. I think people get in a lot of trouble when they act like they know everything and they're really disrespectful to people. And I don't ever want to be that person that manages with fear. I'd rather manage with respect. And, as far as acting like you know everything, I would rather act like I know nothing and then get the right answers from people instead of act like I know everything, because it's really hard to fake it in business and in life in general. The fakes get weeded out pretty quickly.
I love that. And one other thing I think you mentioned to me once before is about money.
Yeah, I mean, I will never care more about money. I will never care more about money than people. I'm going to care about the people way more than I do about money.
I love that. I think we do that in our everyday life too. What is a weakness that entrepreneurs have when they're trying to start a business?
They overcomplicate everything. I meet people all the time. They're like, oh man, I've had this business plan for this long. I've done that I've done this, I've done that. I've had this LLC for 2 years. Just stop overcomplicating everything. It's, we can digress into different personalities. Most business owners are, there's many different personalities, but a lot of people kind of get paralysis by analysis. And they think they have to know everything. They think they have to be the person that, basically has to have the manual and business plan and this and that before they start. Just freaking start and just get it done. Don't wait for, this to happen or that to happen, this be perfect, that to be perfect. And just go out there and make it happen. So I think it's a big mistake when people are like, oh, I need this and I need that. And we don't make it happen.
So don't wait for the funds. Don't wait for the perfect timing. Just
when is there ever a perfect time? It's like having kids. Oh, I'm gonna wait for the perfect time. There's never a perfect time. Just have the kids, get done with it. I mean, I guess I can say that, lightly, but I think you just be true to yourself and know what you're good at and roll through it and don't fake it like I was telling before, and just keep pushing through. Don't quit, because most entrepreneurs, they make the mistakes of, oh, I'm gonna do this and quit. Oh, I'm gonna do this and back down. And I think it's really important that you have a dream so big that no obstacle can get in the way, and that you keep pushing through everything. And Napoleon Hill writes in his books that everybody or most people quit right before the success happens. And it's just like the little sign. I think I was talking with Sean Whalen about this. The picture of when they're digging for the diamond, and the guy, right before he hits the diamond, leaves or goes back up, and the guy finds the diamond. Find the diamond. Just be the person, find the diamond. Because trust me, there was somebody there. I don't care if you're an ice cream shop, a coffee shop, a teacher, a manager, a sales manager. There's going to be somebody successful at that eventually, sometime. Even if there's a million different coffee shops, a million different this, a million different that, there's going to be somebody that's going to keep forward thinking and keep coming through. Just be you. Be that. Like, why can't you be that?
I love that. What should you do when an employee does something that goes against your values?
Talk to them about it. And, in our company, we have cultural realignment meetings where we literally have our values written on all of our cards. Every single person has one and carries them with them at all times. And We have cultural realignment meetings where we say, hey, like you violated this, this culture, you did this, you did that. And we coach you on it. And here's the objectives. Here's 3 things. But I let them tell me what they're going to do. I meet with them and say, hey, you lied to this customer. What are 3 things that you can do? You tell me what you're going to do to help you stop lying.
Yeah, keep them accountable.
When you're holding people accountable at that level, when they have to basically make a game plan for their life, not only are you holding them accountable, they're holding themselves accountable. And if you keep having meetings like that, you got to, what my mentor says is redeploy them in the workforce. And at that point, usually, at least in our company, most people know that's going to happen because I have multiple meetings and I coach them. We're trying to coach them and help them, right? But we can't obviously teach what I call the intangibles of people, just personalities and being a good person. Now, I can coach you how to treat people, but if you're just a bona fide born asshole, I can't really change your beliefs, because we can talk about the belief meter and behavior meter and all that stuff. But if you believe like at the core of your being that that's okay, I can't change that. But that's not okay with me. Mm-hmm. And so if you have someone that is doing something like that, have those meetings, be upfront, set the expectations, sit them down. If you're what I call an S personality, and you have, if you're in the DISC, disc personality, if you're what I call an S personality, or not what is called an S personality, you don't like having hard conversations. But what's easy and breaks that hard conversation barrier is when you go to that person and you say, hey, we're going to have a hard conversation. Mm-hmm. And you break down the barrier right there. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be awkward because you're immediately telling them, hey, I'm going to have a hard conversation with them. Mm-hmm. And it's easier. Trust me, just try it. Like if you're out there and you're like, hey, having hard conversations, when you go up to someone next time and say, hey, I want to have a hard conversation with you. And then you set that expectation, because setting the expectation ahead of time in anything, even if you're in sale, if it's possible to set the expectation basically at the point of contact at the very, very beginning, where now you're in a line and everybody's on the same page. Because what happens a lot of times in hard conversations, if that employee's doing something like that or whatever, you're trying to dance around it. Be direct and be straight up with them, and just set the expectation of this is going to be a hard conversation. And trust me, good things, crazy things will happen, and you will feel a lot better knowing that there's no awkwardness about having a hard conversation. Because like if you're a personality, like an I personality or a S personality, where you don't want people to not like you, it's awkward when you're like, what is this person thinking of me? But it's like, hey, look, I'm going to have a hard conversation with you. I want to come out of this aligned. I want to come out of this on the same page. And it's 100% okay to disagree or agree to disagree. And you can do this in relationships.
I was going to say this works for many marriages.
Me and you do this all the time. Look, we're going to have our conversation. I don't like that you're doing this, but at the end of the day, like we're married and we love each other. We're going to come out on the other side and do X. Like, if you,
that's why it's good to know a personality. Yeah,
every person in a business is a relationship. Like, now I'm not saying, in a marital relationship or a loving sexual relationship or anything like that. I hope not. I mean, that's a whole other conversation you got to have with your HR department. But, it's a relationship. So how would you treat that person? And how would you have that open communication? And I think, you and I talk about this all the time, and I talk about this with all employees, is like, hey, I've never heard of anybody going to marriage counseling because of too good of communication. Like, I'm not going and talking to the counselor. I mean, like, my wife tells me way too much of everything. She tells me how she's feeling. She tells me where she wants to go eat. Oh my gosh. She tells me that I look beautiful. She tells me when I look not good. Like, she's just, the communication's crazy. It's so perfect. No one ever goes to counsel for that. And so if you look at your business, like every person in my company, and have this with your vendor, set those expectations ahead of time, because you can have hard conversations with vendors and they can violate your values. So don't think this is just an employee thing or like a teammate thing or family. We call them family. But I've got a lot of feedback from them. Hey, when you keep talking about your family, I think talking about like my family. So I got, say employees. But when you're having when you set that expectation with everybody involved and you have those hard conversations, you can move forward, and it's not awkward. You set the tone and set that. Like, I can't argue with that. And that, like, I would totally work on that, because that was the biggest thing for me, is I did not like having hard conversations because I don't know how to start it. Now, it's like a book. Like, it's hard to start reading it, but it's easy to get in the middle of, get in the middle of it, in the meat of it. You're in it. It's easy, right? And then the end of it, you're like, okay, it's done. We can complete it and you can move on. It's like a conversation. It's like, man, I don't know how to start this. I don't know how to talk to him. It's almost like dating. I don't know how to ask him out. Well, the dating part's the easy part. It's the asking them out. Like the initial conversation is the hardest part. Now, if you go up to someone and you're like, hey, I'm going to ask you out, or like whatever, maybe girls might like that direct. I don't know. So if you're out there, that's a separate podcast in my relationship. No, I'm just kidding. But, being direct and setting the expectation, I think is super important.
Yes, very. On that note, what is the final straw? Like when in your system does it require you to let them go?
Basically, when we have...
Is there a number?
Exhausted all resources. Like we looked at us, we every time that anything happens in our companies or whatever we're dealing with, even vendors, and we're just, hey, we have done everything we possibly can in our power to help this person or to keep this relationship or to do this or to do that. And we've done everything we possibly can in our power. It's just not working out because maybe there's a lot of factors and things. And before... Like when an employee or somebody or a vendor is having issues, call them and ask them, what's up? Like, how's it going? This is not like you. Like, we do that in relationships all over us. Like, hey, why are you being like, dry with me? You're usually not dry. What's going on? And you have to do that with your teammates. You have to do that with your employees, whoever. And then ask them, hey, is everything okay? Well, man, my grandma died. I've just been caught up in it. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. Tell me that. I can help you. What do you need from us? We're a family here, and then
when they don't do that.
Yeah, when you don't do that, that's hard. But then if you get through all the way that and you're like, hey, it's just not working out, then you have to have that conversation. Look, we have to go in a different direction. And I think that. And most of the time people are like, yeah, I do know. Like I'm not performing at my job. And it's very dangerous for people to get so caught up in their culture that they lose the winning culture. Like the winning culture is not more important than anything, but like it's so important to be able to have that winning culture and good culture. Because some people, and we've gotten in trouble with this with a few people in our company, that they think good culture means they can never get rid of anybody. But if you think about it, that person that's screwing up or maybe really low performing or having an issue is making the other people perform either they're putting more stress on it, perform less, there's issues happening. Now that's bad culture because it's not working correctly and it's not synergistic in a team. And especially if they're a cancer. Like, I say this till I'm blue in the face. I'm sure I said this on the show a million times. Is like when you have a bad apple in your company, if you will, and you say it's okay for them to basically, if you have someone that's a bad culture, but they're doing really well as far as sales and they're crushing and whatever, but they're pissing everybody else off. You're telling the entire company that you care more about money than you care about them. Yeah. And especially, I hope you don't have any values or a mission statement put up there because you're not aligning with that. And I was talking about a situation today that, a situation happened, disrespectful to employees, but they're like, hey, we don't condone that at all. Really crazy situation. But we're still going to let him work here. And I'm like, wait, what? Like what he did was in my eyes, like straight up, like almost like criminal, but like get out of my culture. Like I would never have that. And so what that person is showing all their employees is saying, hey, I care more about the bottom line than I care about you. And that's not good because you will never have people that will perform at a high enough level to get that bottom line up. Like more people are like, oh, I'm so focused on the bottom line. Well, how about you look at your people and how about you empower your people that can force your bottom line and your top line revenue sales. So, circling back on those bad apples, you got to just figure out what to do with them. And it's what I don't. There's old. My dad always says like there's old singer. I don't know if some old people on this would know is like you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them, and you really do. You have to know when it's just time to just let them go. Yeah, and you have to have that direct, upfront conversation with them.
Yeah. Biggest mistake is definitely keeping employees that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, because it does way more damage than it does good.
And on the flip side of that, my next question, what do you do to reward an employee for going above and beyond?
Empower in calling them, telling them, saying, hey man, thank you for doing that. You did such a great job. Talk about it, like celebrate it. We've had departments where they far exceeded our expectation. We've taken them to Topgolf. We've done things. We buy them lunch. We send them crumble cookies. We do, we kind of leave it up to them and say, hey, the GM of, hey, what do you think they want? Hey, they just want a $100 bonus, or they want $200 or $500, or they want to go to Topgolf, or they want lunch, or they want you honestly just to call them and say, hey, thank you. And you really have to reward people. Now, I'm not talking everybody gets a trophy, but I'm talking everybody deserves to feel appreciated. Everybody wants to be appreciated, no matter who you are. I don't care who you are. You want to feel appreciated. And if you, as a leadership and management, whoever, as a captain of a team, if you're not making sure people are feeling appreciated, especially your top performers, because the better you get at things, it's almost the less loyal you get, because you know how good you are. You don't need them anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of sad, because a lot of companies will kind of make sure that you don't ever get that good, because they want, the company wants the employee to depend on them. Mm-hmm. I'm team success. So if you have success with us or success somewhere else, like, we have a very key role, huge key role in our dealerships that went to a major competitor basically across the street in a key role. I'm super stoked for him. I'm happy for him. I see him. Hey, man, I hope you're doing well. Everything's great. Like, I love you, dude. I still so much love for this guy, because I want him to succeed, because that's just who I am, and that's my values, and that's my morals. And so
I remember that, because we still went out to lunch with him after to thank him for his time.
Well, this is same company, different. So we've actually had a couple people go over there, and but like still good relationships. Now, and we flip flop. We keep selling their people. They take our people. Whatever's going on. But I'm okay with that, because I'm on Team RV, and it's funny, because if that owner does not, he's super competitive, and I'm like, dude, you should just call me. We should just have a conversation, because we can help each other. We can figure this out. But then it is what it is. I'm on Team RV. I'm on Team Business. I'm on Team Success. I'm on Team loving you succeed. And this, most recent employee, the bounce over there, his kids still work there. His wife actually works for us. And I'm like, dude, we love. I was actually talking with his wife today, and I'm like, hey, how is doing? Great, oh man. Tell him I said hi. I love him to death. He's the greatest person. Mentor.
It is so good not to burn your bridges.
Yeah, don't, because there's no reason to. You will never feel better about that when you go home at night. At least I hope not. And if you do, you need to go to church or something. Like, you need to start reading some self-development books, because you're just not a good person. If you love seeing people fail, like if you wish ill will on people, now you can be competitive and different things, and you can joke around in that, but if you seriously wish ill will on someone, you got to reality check with yourself. You got to figure yourself out.
Oh, yeah. All right. Here's another one. What should an employee do if they feel like there's bad culture in the company?
That's a great question. I think I remember getting this one. If you feel like there's bad culture out there, you could do a couple things. One, you could just quit. I mean, in that, that's easy to do. Mm-hmm. But if you think, a buddy of mine who was just on this podcast, Sean Whalen, he says, be a light so bright that no one can help but see it. So maybe you could be the one that can help change the culture and help treat people different. Mm-hmm. Now, that's saying you can't change everybody, and there's also a chain of command where people really can't talk to their boss and say, hey, like, I need you to treat me like this, and they're not. Mm-hmm. But I would say, like, if you can't change it and you need to bounce out of there, like, obviously, like, if you need, set yourself up for when you do get out of there, that you can have be successful and be in the right situation. But stop being in the bondage of someone that's just not a good person, that's not managing correctly. And, the biggest thing is, and so, like, in our company, like, my expectation would be someone to call me and say, hey, I don't like how I'm being treated, or I don't like how this is going, or I don't agree, and think, like, let's have that conversation. And it's sad when a culture in a company makes employees feel like they can't call anybody, like at corporate or anybody.
That's a very common problem in corporate.
Yeah, they need to just, like, hey, I don't like my boss, my regional manager, this is what's going on. Like, and especially if you're that boss that gets those phone calls, I'm not worried about it because this guy's performing. Again, to the culture, like, figure that out. If you're having multiple complaints or any complaints at all, figure it out. Like, and I'm not saying do a full-fledged investigation, but, like, call around and see what's going on and how other people feel. Like, hey, how are you feeling about this guy? How's he treating you? What's going on? Like, call more people. So if he's a regional manager or she's a regional manager, a team leader or captain or whatever you want to call him, call around. Say, hey, what's up? How's that going? How's this person doing? Are they treating you right? Or, how their performance, and really get a grasp on them, because they don't know what they don't know. And I don't know what I don't know. So if someone just sits there and complains, and someone just sits there or quits and says this and that and the other, and we don't care, I'm like, well, how do I don't know what I don't know. But it's my job to go find out the no. But sometimes people hide it. It pisses me off so bad when I go to a dealership or any business we have, and I'm like, hey, how are things going? Great. Everything's great. How are you? Great. And then a week later, they quit. I'm like, wait, what? Obviously, anything was great. Like, don't lie to me. If I only know what I know, and if I'm trying to go do my research and investigative skills, and I'm trying to sit here and saying like, hey, how's it going? I am genuinely interested of how things are going. If you say, hey, Jason, I'm put to the side. This is what's going on. I don't like how I'm being treated by this manager, or I don't really agree with the direction of the company. I don't agree with what's going on. I don't agree with this product line. I don't agree with that. Your prices are too high. We're not making enough money. All this, but like, have that conversation with me, because as a CEO of the company, manager of the company, my number one job. What do you think my number one job is, babe?
As a CEO?
Yeah.
Should I answer generically, or?
I don't know. My number one job.
Your number one job is to make sure the company is running smoothly, make sure that everyone's staying in alignment.
My number one job is to set you up for success and serve you.
Oh, yeah, that was way different than my answer.
That's my number one job.
Yeah.
Now, through that, I do have to make sure the success of the company and all these things. But my number one job is to set you up for success and to serve you. And you are doing me a disservice to help you. It's like a help me help you type of thing. You are doing me a disservice by not telling me the truth that I can help you. It's like, it's crazy. It's like you hear those stories of like freaking, I don't know Elizabeth Smart, but like people that are like kidnapped, and people see him and they're not like, help. They're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Blah, blah, blah. And they've freaking been kidnapped for 10 years. Like, raise your hand. Like, I know now people are going to light me up about this, but I'm like, but it's the principle of things. Like, I'm talking on the principle of things. Now, there's, kidnap maybe a little bit extreme. We could take that's very, very extreme.
Brian, take that out.
Yeah, but it's crazy to me that people like just live in bondage, and they live. But I mean, I totally understand mental health, and I understand the way people manipulate people. But take that courage. Like, if you're listening to this, take the courage and stand up for yourself and be the light. Like, get out of the situation, or figure it out, or raise your hand, or say, hey, I need help. I really need help. Because we get like, sometimes when people will complain about, hey, I don't get any training, I don't get this, I don't get that. Well, hey, like, maybe you don't have the right resources, or this or that. Like, have that open dialogue communication.
You don't know what you don't know, right?
100%. And if you're not raising your hand, the squeaky wheel always gets the grease.
That's cute.
Be the squeaky wheel. Be the squeaky wheel. If you need help, like, me, when we go into a store and we're like, oh, we're looking for this, I'm going straight to the first employee I see and asking them.
Yeah, you do.
Because I don't have the time, and I could care freaking less about, there is no competition of me proving to myself that I can find the Q-tips without help.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not coming home saying, babe, I went to Smith's and I didn't ask for help. I'm great. I did it all on my own.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went in there. It took me, 1 minute instead of 10 minutes of looking around, or 5 minutes of looking aaround. And I went in and got done and get out. Like, ask the questions and raise your hand for help and figure it out. And if you don't do that, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. And that's really hard for some people to admit, because, they let their own feelings, their own egos kind of get in the way there.
Right.
They just ask. Ready for another question?
Let's go. If people can't tell, I am very energetic tonight. I have not had an energy drink. I have not eaten pretty much all day. I just shoved my face with some good chicken from Texas Roadhouse that was cold, because I was 3 hours late to dinner, but I had a meeting, or a couple hours late to the meeting. And shoved a couple rolls down from Texas Roadhouse. Shout out. If you want to sponsor me, Texas Roadhouse, please. Please, I love some rolls on every podcast. I'd love to cheers a roll and to just have some rolls. And no, I'm trying to be healthy. I can't have them.
When I say this man was jumping off the walls when he came home, and he was just in a little meeting. I shouldn't say little. It was long. You were in
3
a long
hours.
meeting.
That
was long. Yeah, that was not little. And I apologize if you hear our dog. She's really loving the attention today. But you were so excited when you came home.
You thought I had freaking landed the biggest deal of my life.
I mean, you had the best conversation about culture. He walked in the door and he goes, "Babe, we need to record an episode right now. Let's go. We have to do it right now." And I said, "Okie dokie, let's do it then." And so I'm really excited that you're so fired up about, your passion. That's why you created this podcast. That's why you're here.
Culture is so important to me. And I think it's such a lost art. I think it's such a lost.
Yeah. I was part of a very rough culture.
Yep.
Once upon a time.
Yep.
And I think it inspired both of us to know that, like, we're never going to do that. We're never going to treat people that way in business or life, family, etc.
Right.
So it's been good. On to another question. So I'm a business owner. I already have my business. I've had my business for, let's say, 10 years. And I cannot figure out why I'm not scaling, why I'm not growing. And I want to. What's in my way?
A lot of different factors, but it might be you.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, people ask me this all the time, and I only know what I know, and I'm not 100% here not to brag, because there's people that have done way bigger than I have in a lot shorter period of time. And basically, there's a company out there that's 105 locations in 4 years. I'm 8. Now, they did have $1 billion or like hundreds of $1 million in cash. I didn't. Mm-hmm. But if you're really trying to scale, and maybe it wasn't their objective, or maybe it was their objective, but if you're having a hard time, scaling, or you can't get it to grow, or you can't get the top line revenue to grow, I would totally look at yourself of what maybe you need that. Maybe you need a mentor, maybe you need a consultant to come in and be like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that wrong. And maybe you've never been able to get the advice of someone that has been where you want to go. And hope you're not there to prove anything to anybody, because you're going to prove a whole lot to nobody, and you're going to be small in 10 years and someone's going to smoke past you.
Yeah. And
so I really would hope that you would get a mentor that would basically come in and say, hey, you're at 10 million, I'm at 100, and you want to be at 100. This is how you do it. But I would totally, like, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people get in their own way.
I would say 9 times out of 10, that's probably the biggest problem.
They're a personality that gets so caught up in the details, or they don't care about the details, or they're not self-aware of what's going on. They don't surround themselves with the right team, and a lot of it, you can say resources and capital and things like that. But
9
today,
times out of 10, that's not the biggest problem.
Exactly. Like, in today's world, there's so many ways to get capital and resources. It's freaking insane. Like, I'm surrounded with so much capital people. It's insane.
You can raise money doing basically
anything. But if you've been in business for 10 years, like, you should be able to maybe, I don't know. And we can get into the weeds of like how much money you made, blah, 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 all these things. But if your objective was to scale, but you've never really been able to do it, I would totally look at the team that you have. Like, there's a reason why sports teams are successful and some aren't, because they make a good team. They surround themselves with great teams. And the Browns have struggled in past years. They've set themselves up for success in a lot of different ways. Now, I'm no football genius, but I watch sports every now and again. And the Lakers have had success, and now that they haven't had success. But there was a reason why they were so successful back in the day, is they just surround themselves with the right team. I mean, there's sports organizations that have never won a championship. There's sports organizations that have won multiple championships, and it's the mindset of what you want. Like, if you are there to win a championship, if you are there to scale, then go surround yourself with the team that has done it before. It might cost you a little money. Like, if you're scaling, most of the time your profits are thinner than if you're basically stagnating, or like you're holding. If you're scaling from 100 to 3, 4, 500 million to $1 billion, your profits are less than if you just stayed at $1 billion for 10 years, or 100 million for 10 years, or at $1 million for 10 years. Like, if you went from 100,000 to $1 million, your profits generally, rule of thumb, are they're going to be a little bit less because you're paying money to scale. You're paying more in advertising. You're paying more employees. And, when you do scale, you want to have the structure and the foundation set there. So like in our company, we kind of build the corporate and then we buy the dealerships to fit it. And then we build the corporate and then we buy the dealerships to fit it. And we build the corporate and we buy the dealerships to fit it, because I don't want to buy all the dealerships and say, oh crap, we need to go buy, find all these people to run it. And so we're more, we're top heavy, we're less profitable. Then we add the dealerships, we're super profitable. Then we get more top, like it just ebbs and flows because we're growing. Now we are a very financially healthy company, and that's very important. It's actually one of our values, because I owe it to every single employee, every single employee's kid, every employee dependent, every employee's wife, husband, whatever, boyfriend, whatever, to have a financially successful company so they have a job. I mean, I think of all 180 people, that there are probably 2 or 3 people tied to them of what we are feeding them and our income. Like, we owe it to them to keep a financially successful company. And that is very important to do while you're scaling. So it gets a little dicey sometimes, but you have to go get those mentors and those people that have been there before. Like, I have multiple mentors in my business and in my life in general that, have the marriage that I want, have the life that I want, have the toys that I want, have the companies that I want, and have the reputation that I want, and the values are aligned. We got my brother Ryan Flint as our president now.
Which I'm so excited. I'm so excited about him.
Yeah, because we are so aligned, and we are like spiritually, we don't look like each other. We're doppelgangers, man. Like, we are spiritually connected.
You two are the biggest bros.
And like it's pretty crazy. Like on a spiritual level, like we could have many stories. And Ryan's gonna laugh when he hears this, because he is a listener.
Hi, Ryan.
And that means a lot to me. All of his support, but like, find those people that have been there. Like and don't, like, going back to what I said before. Don't be like, you have to raise your hand.
I think a lot of that goes back to be humble enough to realize that you might be the problem. Don't let your ego say like, oh, it's everybody else, it's not me.
Right. And don't prove that you have the right answer. Just go get the right answer.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I think I have never went to Coca-Cola and said, when their CEO, I'm like, how many times have you been right?
Right.
I just like your Coke. 0. By the way, spread shout out to all my fitness people. I stay with the 0. All my health people, I'm dying. But all my fitness people, we're good.
Little cancer is fine.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's all right. I'm sure everything else. I'm sure this equipment's gonna give me cancer. But like, it's very important that you do, you don't try to fake it. That you surround yourself with those people that can help you scale.
Yeah, and don't be so prideful that you think that you have all the answers. Sometimes, like,
business will weed you out. I mean,
you.
I thought I had a lot of the right, I tried to fake it until I made it in the beginning, and it was really tough.
That can get you only so far, though.
And it kind of ate me alive. Like, you didn't really know me back in 2018. Like, we just met like a couple months ago. I'm just kidding, but that was a tough time, and like, it ate me alive. I mean, we jumped in. We didn't know anything about the RV business, and I was very, very fortunate enough to be able to meet a guy in a casino up in Oregon during one of the RV shows, who's now a brother and like a father figure to me, even though I have a fantastic dad. But he's just he's like an uncle figure, I guess, because I don't have any uncles. So I'll call him Uncle Mike. Uncle Mike has been probably one of the biggest blessings in my entire life, through all personally and also business-wise. And it was just another spiritual connection of, we just connected, and I had no clue who he was. I knew nothing about the RV industry, but I did know, from my past history, I was very good at talking to people. I could talk to anybody. I don't care who you are, how much money you have, or what celebrity status, whatever. I could talk to you like a normal human being. And I knew I went to a table where the big dogs of the RV industry were sitting, and just sat down and was like, this looks like a table I need to be at. And they all kind of looked at me, and we just started talking, having a conversation. And through that, I met Uncle Mike, and he has been my biggest mentor, and love him to death. I mean, he came to our wedding down in Cabo, and it means the world to me. But I don't know where I'd be without him. Like, people, it's funny because people are like, oh, I'm self-made. Really, bro? Like,
no one
come on
is
now.
like actually 100%.
Like a team surrounds you. Like that's why I love bodybuilding, because I could say like I love bodybuilding because it's, you know, it's me out there or whatever. When I was now I don't look like I'm building a body of some chunk right now.
You look great, babe.
More focusing on my. I always tell people I'm like focusing on my health, but then like, but you're overweight. I'm like, fuck.
You are
like,
not.
Yeah, I'm just kidding, but
oh my.
you know, it's just important to get those people in your life that can help you succeed.
Yeah. Don't get in your own way. Let someone help you. And you have to be willing to accept the criticism. And I think that's something that a lot of people have a hard time with.
Oh, yeah.
You get the mentor, you pay the money, you check all the boxes, but then they tell you you're the problem.
And then you're like, oh, no, I don't want you to tell me that.
And all of a sudden, you're back to square one because you're refusing to.
Yeah, but a good mentor will tell you, hey, you're the problem. Hey, this is going on, that's going on. And have those hard conversations. Like I had a hard conversation the other day, and he's like, look, this is my job to tell you this. I'm like, man, okay.
Like, crap.
Yeah,
fine.
but like right now I have one of the best boards in the RV industry, of industry titans, the Mount Rushmore of industry. You know, one of the guys that would be on the Mount Rushmore of industry. You know, I'm talking a $30 billion or $40 billion industry, who ran a multiple billion-dollar dealership that's retired, is on my advisory board. And, you know, we'll go public with that information. You know, it is public, but I don't want to say nothing right now. But I got multiple of them, and we've just surrounded ourselves. Like people will look at me and like, how did you do this? And it's from the infectious attitude that I have, and my dream and my passion of what we're doing and how bad I want to do it differently. And I want to help people and love on people and empower people and you know, just share that shares that passion. And I have been so infectious with that, I guess, that they've called me. Like I've made one phone call for an advisory guy, and he literally was like, sure. And he's the number one analyst, you know, for Goldman Sachs as far as the RV industry, RV marine, and even housing market. I mean, and he's like, yeah, I'll be on it. Yeah. And I'm like this, that means a lot to me. Like, and it's talking about cultures. They just want to be a part of something like that winning culture. And I'm not saying look at me, but if you're out there wanting to know how you scale, wanting to know how you grow, wanting to know how you get to where you want to be, and even if it's in marriage, like go get someone like, you can get a marriage mentor. You can't get a counselor, but you can do like more of a mentor situation that you can call as like a buddy and go to dinner. Like I'm not going to dinner with no counselor, but you can go to dinner with this person, but like get you a mentor and like don't be the person to, oh, I don't need one. Well, I'll see you later, man. You'll be sitting in the upper bowl at the Jazz game. I'm sitting on the court side. Like you will totally separate yourself from the crowd, because mentors are people with, generally speaking, now there are the a-holes of the world and the people that are just bad human beings. And I think you and I are thinking of some of those people that we know very, very closely, that you would never do business with. I don't care how much money they have, but generally speaking, and never ask advice, you know, certain things. But generally speaking, like generally speaking, they want to help you. Like if anybody came to me and was like, hey, I need help with whatever, you know, I'm like, I'm down to help you. Whatever. Like I want people to succeed, because I like seeing people smile and seeing people succeed means more to me than anything. Like seeing you happy means more to me than anything. I don't care how much money we have. Like, you know, from the situation from me in previous marriage, like we had the money, we had the cars, we had the house, we had everything. And like, you know, she left me. And so I had everything, and I'm sitting there like, I'm the most miserable I think I've ever been in my life. Now I didn't know, you know, shout out to the Blake Shelton song of whatever the song is, She Led Me to You or whatever. Thank God for whatever. Thought I was going to have a good one there, but, like, you know, I didn't know that was going to happen, but you know, I have all the money in the world and you're just unhappy, and, you know,
And I think a lot of that comes from, you know, where we started this question is you had to take accountability. You had to hear that you were doing something wrong from someone else to fix it. And you had to be humble enough to say like, oh yeah, I am.
Yeah. And that was a lot of friends, a lot of family, and a lot of mentors.
And that, I mean, if someone here is listening to this and you're thinking like, oh, that's not me, I'm never the problem. You're the problem. That's you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I messed up.
Yeah.
And it happens to me all the time. I've had bad hires that's cost us millions of dollars, and you know who that is. And hey man, I messed up. Hey guys, I messed up. Hated this. Hey, I thought this. Hey, I thought that. But no one's gonna scold me for it. No one's gonna get mad. They're just gonna be like, we've kind of laughed it off. But there's been multiple of those. It's not just one situation. Or I still hold the record for the most expensive accident in the entire Haugen RV group.
I remember you telling me.
I worked at
that.
the dealership for 1 month and totaled thousands, tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage to the two trailers, and one of them was literally, I was pulling it to the RV show and crashed it. And so, like, I can never get mad at things like that. What I do get upset about.
You gained your trust back though.
I mean, I'm a hauler now. I'm a beast.
It took him a minute, but he's allowed to pull him again.
I'm a beast.
Don't worry.
It took me 2 years. Honestly, Mykell, 2 years I didn't pull a trailer, almost to the day.
I know. I was with you when you finally pulled one again, and you were scared shitless.
Oh, it made me so nervous. But now I can haul like a 53-foot trailer and mob it around the neighborhood, and I'm good. But I did get yelled at a little bit for that. But
you lived and you learned. It's okay.
But the biggest thing with me is don't hide it.
Yeah.
Don't be that person that's hiding stuff. I've had people crash stuff on the lots where they've hidden it behind another trailer, and I'm like, I'm more upset at like, why are you lying to me? Now you broke one of our values, trust.
Yeah.
Now we have a cultural realignment meeting. Now just be honest with me. Be like, dude, I just totaled the trailer. It just rolled out in the middle of the street and someone just T-boned it. Well, first off, is everybody okay? And then let's get through it, man. There's I don't think people do bad things on purpose. Now that's just me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it burns me a lot, and you know that. But at the end of the day, I sleep with my eyes real tight, and I sleep dark, and I'm good, and I sleep deep, and everything is fine. But I tend to look at the good in people, even through the bad things, and this, even through really bad situations. I feel like people are still good-hearted.
You do have a huge heart.
Yeah, like I've lost a lot of money, and I still love the people that I lost the money with.
98% of the time, your big heart is a good thing. 2% of the time, it gets you into some trouble because you're so sweet and so nice and want the best for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I lose money. Oh, dang. Then they call me, hey, I need more money. Okay, cool.
Fine.
No, I'm not that dumb, but like.
One day he'll get into the story about this homeless man he helped, and
No, we're not ever gonna get.
Yeah, you gotta tell that story one day. Not today. Today is not the day. Ask him about it if you see him, guys. It's funny. All right, we're gonna move on. Your next question, and this goes back to credibility. How do you gain credibility being a young entrepreneur? Because I feel like, especially for you being 28 as a CEO in the RV industry, it took a minute for people to realize that you're in the game and you're like, you're not pretending, like you're for real. How does someone build credibility being young in any industry, really?
Credibility is earned, not given, and trust is earned, not given. And how you gain that credibility is through trust. And when I was 24 years old, imagine this. We go by the dealership. I roll up day one, and I'm like, hey, I'm your boss. I'm 24. I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense.
Get out of here.
Still to this day, like you roll in, we fly on the jet, we land. They're thinking some freaking person in a suit's rolling in, blah, 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 and it's going to be some older guy and whatever. And I roll up, and I'm in a jeans and sport coat, and I'm chilling, and I got Jordans on, and I got a pink sport coat with this stuff. And I'm like, hey, guys, how's it going? And they're like, what the heck? But I try to break down the barriers, and it's been hard. It's not been easy. I get the name.
Your age is like the one thing that people are skeptical of, and it's the one thing that you have to work the hardest to prove yourself with.
Right. Like we've been in talks for other companies that we have private equity, and not necessarily the dealerships, but other companies that you and I own, as my wife and I own. And they'll be like, hey, I love that. Sounds great, but we don't want you to run it. We don't feel like your age is sufficient enough. You don't have an experience, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I built the company.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, screw you. And so that still is out there. I hate age. Oh, you need 6 years experience with this because that's just how, you need to be 30 or you need to be 35 or you need to have this or that. Like if you're good, you're good. And for me, earning that trust. So I put it like this. And my dad told me this, and it's been one of the most valuable lessons I have ever had when dealing with people in any situation and getting that trust. So imagine I think you've heard me say this. Imagine you're in Central Park. You're rolling up there, walking, and you have your bread, right? And there's pigeons all over the place. Central Park full of pigeons. What do the pigeons want that you have?
The bread.
But if you run through the pigeons, what do you think is going to happen?
They're going to fly away.
Exactly. But you have what they need. Why would they fly away? It's the delivery, right? Mm-hmm. But if I walk up to them and I look them in the eye and I have eyes of trust. Now, when you're looking someone in the eye, you have to tell them the truth. If you look in if you look in the bird's eye and they can trust you, animals are crazy. Like they know. It's like that. It's just wild. They know. If you look at them and you grab the bread and you put a little piece in the ground and they eat it. And you put another piece in the ground, they eat it. You put another little piece in the ground, they eat it. Then you back up and you put your butt on the seat and you nestle in. You grab your loaf of bread and you hold it out in your palm, and now they're eating out of your hand. Now you got a flock of pigeons all over the place. But how? You gain the trust. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about like the credibility, you have to look at life like that. Like you can't, I don't care who you are, young or old, but especially if you're young, like you are already having, like, especially millennials. Like I love our generation. I guess my generation. Are we different generations?
No, we're the same generation.
Dang it. But our generation is so talked down upon. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's very hard to be a millennial in the business world.
It's crazy. And so you already have negative effects going on you. Mm-hmm. You already are screwed, pretty much. No. Like the 30-year-old millennials and the 30 whatever, I'm not I don't know the freaking generations. But like, older, now you're starting to get a little more credibility, but it's so crazy that age does that. But like you have to gain the trust with people by getting on their level. On the pigeons, like you're getting on their level. Maybe you take a knee and you get on their level and you put the bread down. You have to get on someone else's level and gain that trust.
Yeah.
And it's so important. Like, with me in the dealerships, like we go in there and be like, hey, like I'm here to love on you and see what you need. Like we go buy a dealership. Day one, we go say what's up to everybody. We meet everybody. I love to get little one-on-ones with everybody if we can. And I'm there to just help and research and investigate kind of and just love on them and figure out who we just purchased. Because at the end of the day, we're purchasing people. Yep. And that sounded really bad. But we're not buying, like if we weren't buying the people, we'd just be buying real estate and a bunch of trailers. Like we're buying the company. Like people are always
maybe we can use the word investing.
Yeah, investing in the people. Mm-hmm. And so like I always like joke, but like, look guys, we're buying you as a team. Like we're buying this company. I don't have a bus sitting out back with a bunch of people sitting on it waiting for you guys to bounce out of here and we're going to replace you. Because we, generally speaking, in the dealerships per se, they're more rural, and it's been a challenging process. But even other companies you and I have, that's not the goal when we've acquired things. But gaining that credibility with them and getting on the level and that trust is so important. And figuring out what they need and serving them and truly serving them. Like some people can say, "Oh, culture, culture, culture." Like I'm here for you. I'm here. But being the person that is truly there to serve them in any way you possibly can, within reason. Like, people ask me for crazy things, and I'm like, bro, chill. Like, here's what I can do. But truly there for them, you will gain that trust. Like, right now we have now I'm not talking it's perfect, because nothing is perfect, and I think it's crazy if it's perfect, but like, I wish it was perfect, whatever. It's never going to happen, but it's okay. But if you strive for that, and you want people to trust you, and you want that credibility with people, you have to, and it even goes to trusting them, because they need to know, hey, he trusts me, I trust him, we're good. Yeah. And we're in alignment. Ryan always talks about alignment, and his famous saying that's ingrained into my head is win-win or no deal. It's got to be that. It's got to be a win for them. It's got to be a win for you. And if it is not, no deal. Yeah. And it's powerful, because you will gain so much credibility by being upfront and honest and demanding it. Like, when I go in there, I demand it. I walk in like I own the place, because I do, but But I walk in like I own the place and I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? I'm here to serve you. It's swagger, right? Like you might be dressed up a little bit, but it's a little bit swagger. Hey, what's going on, with confidence to be able to gain that credibility. So it's almost like, you can almost say like fake it till you make it, but it's not, it's confidence. Like there's no reason that you can't have, like there's no amount of financial stature, whatever, that dictates your confidence. Like that shouldn't matter. So whether at any age, at any aspect of life, at any stature, at anything, you have the confidence and gain the trust with people, that will go further than anything, because everything is a relationship game. So I'm going in there I'm dating, right? Like I'm like, hey girl, how's it going? How you doing? What's a family? Like, how you doing? What do you like for hobby? Like I'm dating everybody because we're about to get in a long-term relationship, baby. And we're about to be married for a long time. And I got 180 people that I'm dating right now, and I'm married to a couple of them. But like you gotta think, how we got married. You gotta think of it like that, because you really are, like I was talking about before earlier, like you're going in a relationship with these people, and to gain that credibility is just so important. And it's so hard, and
it is such a compliment to you that more often than not, at least when I'm around people, I mean, when people finally find out how old you are, in most situations that I've been in, they're like, what? You're kidding.
Yeah, people. When I talk to people on the phone, I must have like a deep voice. I'm like, hey, what's going on? But I guess I don't know. But I guess the way I talk, the way I act, the way everything is like, oh, you're so young. And I'm like, yeah, I just shaved my face a little bit because.
And 9 times out of 10, if you were to never say your age, if it were never a factor, they would 100% give you whatever you wanted, whatever you needed. But the minute you say, I'm 28, all of a sudden they're like,
yeah.
You're 28? Oh, no.
Yeah, like I won the top 20 in their 20s for State of Utah, the class of 2022. And people were like, wait, you're in your 20s? You're in their 20s? I'm like, I'm 28, bro. They're like, what? Like, I never knew that. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't, it's not tattooed on my forehead. Like, I'm obviously younger dude. Like, oh, I thought you were this age and that age. And be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But
you'll always get late 30s.
Yeah, I'm like, do I look that old? At least. Man, I just started my Botox. Shout out to Heather. I'm like, dang, dude. Like,
meanwhile, I look like I'm 60.
Yeah, I'm like a 35-year-old freaking dating a 16-year-old. Life is fantastic over here in the Haugen household. And we're only 2 years apart.
Yeah, we're 2 years apart.
Yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. Like now I think about it, I'm offended. People think I'm so old. It's okay.
It's just your demeanor. It's
I guess
the way
it's
you
just
carry yourself. Yeah. It's the success you've had and what you've been able to do with the industry.
You're so sweet. Thank you, man.
I love you. And I am really proud of everything you've done, considering how young we are. And I think it just, like I said, it's such a compliment to you that people are so shocked when you do finally say like, oh, I'm 28. No, I'm not 38 or 48.
Right.
Yeah, it's so cool to see people like actually starting to trust you at your age, when it's the biggest problem in our generation is, oh my gosh, he's a millennial. He's 28. I'm not doing anything with him.
Right.
So I think, yeah, that's great advice.
Oh, thank you.
For those out there in their 20s, just trying to make it out here. I mean,
for sure.
In our world right now, I feel like the only way you're credible at our age is having a check mark by your name on social media. And that is such a hard barrier for us to try to break through.
Right.
Like, it's not just about the check mark. It's really not.
Right.
All right. So what's one thing someone can do to change the culture in their business today? As they're listening to this.
One thing? Bro, I could go on to 2-3 hours about this.
I know, but what's one easy thing that they can do when they walk in the door tomorrow to go to work? What's just one thing?
Love your people. Look at them like human beings, and look at them like you're there to serve them, and love your people. Yeah. And I don't care if you're a business owner, a manager, a sales manager, a team lead, a captain of a basketball team, a football team. Your brothers or your sisters on your right and your left are your team. Mm-hmm. And I think the best thing you can do for them is to show them you care, because at the end of the day, I was talking earlier about this to one of the guys in a meeting, and he played, I think, D1 sports. He played sports, basketball. And I'm like, hey, like, have you ever had that basketball coach that you just didn't like? So you, like, who are you playing for at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Are you playing for yourself or your team?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, think about it. I play mostly for myself. Have you ever had those coaches that you die for and you battle for and you would do anything for? You're diving on the ground. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're passing the ball extra because you just want to win so bad because you want to serve that coach. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. I totally can relate to that. I'm like, you need to be that coach. You need to be the person that people want to, die for is extreme, but people want to go to battle for. People want to go to extremes for it. And you need to create the culture, like in not even the person, because you can get caught up in yourselves and your feels about, oh, look at me, I'm the guy that everybody loves. Put the credibility on each other, like the unit the team in a whole, that the team is so powerful that you'll do anything for the team because the team's camaraderie is so big that, it just be the person.
Stop hating your employees.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like people hate them. They just don't. They look at them like money.
Like complain, ugh, my employees this. I have to go deal with this.
Yeah, like me and you went to a conference one time where every single time the host got up on stage, he owned a business. Every time the host got up on stage, he talked crap on his employees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, why
I'm sure your employees love you too then.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like, do I wish that I could make all the money with maybe one person? Sure, because it would just be less complicated and cheaper and this and that and the other. But at the end of the day, like, these are my friends. Like, I love these people. Now, you got to be careful with that because at the end of the day, you're their boss and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but you can give them respect.
We're with each other more than with our families. Like, when I travel, you know how much travel I do, but I travel probably 80 to 100 times a year, probably on average. Maybe more than that, honestly. And, I'm with these people a lot. Like, we're on the road a lot for a lot of nights. And, you got to have that camaraderie. You got to have that team. But, like, I've heard of, like, teams before, that travel as far as basketball that they don't even really – they all stay in the same hotel because they're required, but they don't ever talk to each other outside of the game. They don't hang out outside the game. They go eat at different places. They go do different things. And then they meet up, shoot around, and they play the game, and they leave. I'm like, why would you ever – do that? Why would you play on I wouldn't want to be on that team. Like, I want to be on a team where we're all playing Xbox together. We're all chilling, we're all hanging out, we're all eating together. Like, that's
with boundaries.
Now, you're right. There's boundaries. Like, nothing. It doesn't have to be extreme.
We're not gonna go out to the bars on the weekends.
No, on work trips. No, I'm saying, but like, I definitely think it's really important to be able to love your people and culture is a feeling. Like, it's hard to, like, people, one time when someone asked me, and I coined this term and I'm trademarking this shit. Like, they always say, oh, I just lost my thought. What do they say? Like, what's the word when people are like, it's who you're not, it's who you are when no one else is looking. What is that word?
We're gonna have to go back.
Oh my gosh! Someone out there is gonna.
Do you want me to hurry and Google it for you? I can hurry and Google it.
It's like integrity. Integrity, I think, is who you are when no one else is looking.
Oh,
culture.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Culture is who you are and your company is when no one's looking.
Yeah, I think changing your perspective of your employees and learning to love them rather than resent them is. You can walk in the door tomorrow and change your mindset. Yeah,
and again, like, it starts with we call it nonverbal. Like, if you walk through in your company, your even if you're basketball, your school, if you are a person in a school or a teacher or something like that, and you walk in and you look pissed, what do you think that sets up the rest of the day? Well, you're having a bad day now. Now everybody's talking, are you okay? Are you okay? You're going to relive the experience. And now, in that situation, it's almost like fake it. Like, just, we've had hard conversations with employees that, man, have been tough. And then you're supposed to go to the next meeting and be super excited. We've had situations where we've been tough. But you literally have to do like a mental reset and say, okay, I'm going to reset. And I'm going to smile, big smile, and then walk in. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. And then trust me, that will be so infectious that you'll end up having a good day. It happened today. I had really a hard day today. Tough conversations. A lot of stuff went on. I busted through the door, super excited, high on life. Had a great meeting. You would never know what kind of conversations I've had today. And, you know, I'm not saying life-changing conversations, but we're getting up there. And just, hey, it's just all about the mental attitude and what you got to do to keep pushing through it. And
well, you know what my least favorite saying of any business owner is, right?
What?
Everyone's replaceable.
No, that's so stupid.
That is my least favorite thing that any business owner I've heard.
It costs so
CEO,
much
boss, more. Whatever it is.
It costs so much more to replace people than it is just to make.
Freaking drives me nuts.
Oh my gosh, that's hard. Like, and like I guess if you're getting down to the technicality of it, of course, that, you know, if you have a team of 10, there's billions of people on the earth. Obviously, someone's gonna build a team. But why not look at them like a coach, like you're able to help them and coach them and move them in the direction that you want.
Yeah.
And do not manage out of fear. Do not coach out of fear, because people will not perform to their highest level. Like, we always got told by one of our consulting companies, when you're in your stress zone, you're losing money. When you're in your stress zone in anything in life, you are not operating 100%. And like, you have those coaches that are coaches are a little bit different, but like high expectations, and I love that. But there are some coaches that just straight make you fear them. When you are mentally thinking about the mistakes you're about to make, you never operate correctly. Yeah. When you are consciously thinking about things that should be unconscious in those types of situations, you will trip yourself up mentally. Like, if you're so scared to shoot the free throw or the three because you're scared to miss because your coach is going to rip you a new one, you're going to hesitate on that three, even if you're a good shooter. When you're a salesperson and your manager's managing so much out of fear that you're scared to not get that sale. Like, when I worked at GNC, he managed with us so much in fear, our regional manager did, that I was desperate and scared. If that person walked out of there with no sale or something happened, I would buy something myself just to get the stats up. Because this person managed with fear. There's no wonder there was a freaking class action lawsuit or something I got to ask me about.
I hope that he is not the general manager anymore.
I think he's still part of GNC.
Well, he's probably listening to this thing.
I hope you are, bro. You know exactly who you are.
Don't say names.
No, but anyway, like that's his whole sales tactic. Like, when I went to meet him for the first time, he slapped my hand away and said, "I don't care to know you. You won't be here long enough for me to care." And I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Why would I ever go to battle for you? Why would I stay long nights for you? You don't care about me. Why would I care about you?" Yeah,
and I think that's why, you know, the owners who say what they're about to say.
Yeah.
That if they say that someone's replaceable, I think that's why they have low employee retention, and that's not a good thing. You shouldn't be proud that you have high employee turnover.
For sure.
Well, I think I have one last question for you.
What's up?
What does culture mean to you? What is culture?
Like I was talking about before, culture is a feeling. And you have to, it's hard to explain. But when you walk into, and it's also like, you know, a brand and a culture, and there's just so much that goes into it. Like, if you walk into an Apple store, now I don't know anything about their culture as far as how they treat their people. But I'll tell you what, when you walk in there, everything's like nice and elegant, and, you know, good lighting, and like, it's just a feeling that you feel good. You feel like their stuff's so high quality, and it is. You know, I'm an Apple fan, but you just feel that, right? You can walk into a business where you know if they're being treated good or not good because of how they are attitude-wise. Most of the time, people are very calm. They're scared. They're acting scared. I can almost tell that their manager's kind of a jerk, or like something's going on in their culture. Culture is so important. And like, I've been really, really excited lately to do some consulting and do some coaching and do some helping a lot of people in their culture, because I freaking love it. And I break it down to the psychology of personalities, and we can dive into it, and your belief and your doubt meter and all this stuff. But culture is so big, and it's just a feeling like of how you empower people, and how you want to create that winning team, and how you want to create that company or that team or that leadership, whatever you're in, that people just want to be a part of, that people want to help you. And I'm not talking about everybody gets a trophy, like I keep saying. I don't believe in that at all.
Right.
But I believe to empower people, and I believe to help people succeed, and I believe that you need to help set them up for success and serve them. And when you have that winning culture, when you have that culture of excellence and that expectation of excellence, and you have, I mean, sometimes like it's hard. Like we have high objectives. We have high sales objectives. We push our people hard, but they want it just as bad as we do because they want to do it for the company just as bad as we do. It means a lot to me that my last name, my last name on the building, it means a lot to me that people stay late for that. It means a lot to me that people, bust their ass for that. It really does. Like, I'm truly honored to be able to to do that. Like I love hearing the stories of people staying late and doing things or going the extra mile because they care more about themselves. But at the end of the day, I don't want them to do it for me. I want them to do it for themselves and each other at the dealership. Like, their brothers and sisters on each side of them. And when you're be able to create that culture, and when you're able to do those things, it will do amazing things for your business. Like people ask me, how do I drive this financials and the bottom line and this and that? I'm like, okay, well, your sales team's not performing, your margins and mindset. How do we empower those people to have the mindset that they can get the more margin, to get more sales or do whatever? Now you start to empower them and give them the things that they want. It goes down to the books that they're reading, like our book club, our management training programs, all these things of trying to empower them of the beliefs that we want them to have. And even personal life, like I want to set them up for success personally. Now, I'm not here to claim that everything's perfect in my life and here and there, but whatever. But like, I want people to be an all-around person and have that feeling that they're part of something, that culture where they just do not want to be, that they do, they don't want to leave and they want to be a part of. Like, almost say culture's root word is cult, and it's just creating that vibe and that atmosphere and that energy, like just getting that energy out there that people want to be a part of the movement that you were doing. Like you see brands out there exploding because of who they are and the branding and the culture they've created, that you just want to hop on the bandwagon. Like you want to be with them. You want to buy from them, like you and your freaking Puras. We got a Pura in every outlet in this house and at my office. And at every other office we have.
They're great, okay?
And
they sold me.
It's just the culture, right? It's the branding, it's the cleanliness, it's the swag or kind of the smells of the house. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's a culture.
Yeah.
And just like Apple, it's a culture. Apple is a culture.
Yeah.
And being able to have that where it's so infectious that it spreads like that is just amazing. So culture is a feeling.
I love that. Is there anything in your now 20 episodes now today that you want to take away? Is there anything new you learned to wrap this up?
Man, I learned so much. This has been a complete honor to have this podcast. It's been a blast. I hope all you listeners out there have enjoyed it as much as I have. I love interviewing people. I think I'm not many times on the other side of the podcast being interviewed. But I
said you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, babe. Yeah, thank you, babe. I love you to death. And I just want to say thank you so much for your love and support. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know what I would do without your support. I'm gone a lot. I'm on the road a lot. I'm working late. Like I got home at 9:30 tonight.
And now we're recording, and it is 11:07
Yeah,
p.m.
and I just want to say I love you to death, and thank you so much for being my rock and my foundation at home, because it's hard to have a good work life if a home life sucks. So thank you for being that. Truly from the bottom of my heart, I don't tell you enough that I love you and appreciate you. And
thanks for working hard.
Yeah, hey, I do it for you and our little girl. So thank you guys for listening. I really, really appreciate the love and support I'm getting. If you like this, please share it. Hit me up on Instagram at Jason Haugen. I would love to interact with you guys, and just it means a lot that you are downloading this. And if you think this episode can help someone, please share it. Like I just said, it just means a lot to me. My whole goal and purpose in life, I feel like, is to help people, serve people, and just be that light that shines so bright no one else can help but see it. And I hope I can do that with culture. I hope I can do that with you. And I am signing off for tonight. So I just appreciate you all, and we will see you on the next episode of Culture Camp.
Woo-woo.